Welcome back to Crypto Intel, the channel where we break down the crypto market with clear analysis, real insights, and the latest developments shaping the future of digital finance. Right now, something about HBAR feels different. Not obvious, not loud, but different. And if you've been in crypto long enough, you know that these moments matter. Because before major moves happen, the market often starts to change in subtle ways that most people don't notice, ways that don't show up in headlines or trending lists. But they're there. And right now, there are early signs that HBAR might be getting closer to a significant move. So the real question is, how close are we? Today, we're going to break everything down. We'll talk about what typically happens before a big move in crypto, what signals investors look for, what's currently happening with Hedera, and whether HBAR could be approaching a turning point. And if you enjoy crypto analysis, market insights, and deep dives into promising blockchain projects, make sure to subscribe to Crypto Intel and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. Let's start with something important. Big moves in crypto rarely come out of nowhere. They build, slowly, quietly, and often invisibly to the majority of investors. Before a breakout, there is usually a phase where the market begins to stabilize. Volatility decreases, selling pressure weakens, and price starts forming a structure. This structure is not always easy to recognize because it doesn't look exciting. There are no massive green candles, no viral hype, no sudden spikes, but for experienced investors, this is often the phase where attention increases, because this is where positioning begins. Now, let's connect this to HBAR. Over recent periods, HBAR has not been the most talked about asset in the market. It hasn't experienced extreme volatility, and it hasn't been dominating social media. At first glance, this might make it seem less attractive, but from a market structure perspective, this kind of behavior can be important, because stability often comes before expansion. When a market stops making aggressive moves downward, it creates the potential for a shift, not immediately, but gradually. Now let's talk about why this matters. In crypto, most investors focus on price. They look for movement. They look for action. But price is often the last thing to change. Before price moves, other factors begin to shift. Market structure improves, sentiment stabilizes, and long-term positioning begins. This is what many refer to as a transition phase. And this phase can be one of the most important because it's where the market decides what comes next. Now let's take this a step further. Why would HBAR be entering this kind of phase? To answer that, we need to look at the fundamentals behind Hedera. Hedera is not built around hype cycles. It is built as infrastructure for real-world use cases. The network runs on Hashgraph, a system designed for efficiency and scalability. This allows it to process transactions quickly, with low fees and fast finality. For enterprise applications, these features matter. But here's the key point. Infrastructure projects don't move based on hype alone. They move based on adoption, development, and long-term positioning. And these things take time, which is why their price action can look slow until it doesn't. Now let's talk about another important factor: attention. In crypto, attention drives price. When attention increases, demand often follows. And when demand increases, price can move quickly. But attention is not constant. It shifts, it rotates, and sometimes it returns to projects that were previously ignored. If attention shifts back toward infrastructure and real-world adoption, projects like Hedera could become more relevant. And when that happens, the transition from quiet to active can be fast. Now let's connect everything together. We have a relatively stable price structure, reduced hype and noise, strong underlying fundamentals, and the potential for attention to return. Individually, these factors don't guarantee anything. But together, they create a setup worth watching. Because this is how many large moves begin. Not with hype, but with preparation. Now, it's important to stay realistic. HBAR is not alone in this space. It is competing with major ecosystems like Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and others. Each of these networks is evolving and expanding. There is no guarantee that Hedera will outperform them, but what makes HBAR interesting is its positioning. It is not trying to be everything. It is focused on specific use cases, and if those use cases gain traction, the market could start valuing the project differently. Now let's talk about timing. This is where most investors struggle, because the transition phase is not exciting. It requires patience, it requires attention, and it requires the ability to act before confirmation. Most people wait. They wait for price to move. They wait for news. They wait for validation. But by the time all of that happens, the move is already in progress. And that's why this moment matters. Because if HBAR is indeed getting closer to a move, the opportunity is not when it becomes obvious. The opportunity is now. or at least before the majority starts paying attention. So the real question is, are we early or just waiting for confirmation? Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe HBAR is close to a breakout, or do you think the market still needs more time? And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more crypto analysis, market insights, and deep dives into promising blockchain projects, don't forget to subscribe to Crypto Intel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.